I believe that we've entered upon something that I call the Greater Depression. It's going to be like what happened from 1929 to 1946, but much worse and much different and much longer lasting.
What's your take on the inflationary situation right now, Doug?
It's going to get much worse. Now, I've been predicting this, as have a number of other people that understand economics for some time. It's not transitory. All of these central banks, it's not just the Fed, but all of them are printing up currency units by the trillions. And as they go into society, they bid for things. Mostly they've been bidding for financial assets, stocks and bonds and real estate. But there's plenty left over to bid for the things that you eat and drive and so forth. It's going to get much worse. Now, much worse, because don't forget, I believe that we've entered upon something that I call the Greater Depression. It's going to be like what happened from 1929 to 1946, but much worse and much different and much longer lasting. But I have some good news for you. This Thanksgiving may be expensive, but you're not going to be grubbing for roots and berries quite yet anyway.
Right. Well, yeah, not quite yet. But what's interesting is that we probably haven't spoken this much about inflation and how frightening it is since the 1970s. So were there lessons from that period that we should be applying today?
Yeah. Look, dollars are a hot potato. And that's a real problem because the whole world runs on dollars. Americans save dollars. That's how you get ahead, by saving dollars. But the value of the dollar is being actively destroyed. Inflation is not something, just to make sure we're all on the same page out there, it's not the fault of the butcher, the baker, or the gasoline maker. It's the fault of central banks and governments. They control the number of dollars. So we're in for big trouble because all these governments are bankrupt. Taxes are high and going higher, but they're spending so much that the only way they can get more money is by printing it.
Right.
That's what's happening. It's going to accelerate. There's no way out from these people's point of view.
So, to that point, when we talk about a taper is near and they're going to start tightening again, you don't agree. They can't do it?
Look, if they stop printing money at this point in a debt-heavy world that we're in today, debts can barely be paid with these artificially low interest rates, close to zero. So if they stop printing money, the whole financial structure could collapse. That's what happened in 1929, more or less. We had a deflationary depression where lots of dollars were wiped out and prices went down. They don't want that to happen this time. So they're going to keep printing up money. They think it stimulates the economy. They really think that. They really believe it.
Let me ask you this, Doug. When you say things are going to get much worse, we hear a lot of terminology being thrown around when we talk about inflation, stagflation, hyperinflation, superinflation. What phase are we really in, according to Doug Casey, and what phase are we headed to?
Well, it's getting very late in the game. It's funny, when the economy nearly collapsed 10 years ago, I said, how can they keep the ball rolling? How can they kick the can further down the road? Well, I didn't anticipate that they would create as much money as they have to, in effect, throw oil on troubled waters. I didn't anticipate that they'd actually take interest rates down to zero, and in some cases below. But they've shot those arrows from their quiver. So what can they do next? That's what I'm asking myself. They're thinking about guaranteed annual income. They're already implementing what's known as modern monetary theory, which basically prints up money with no limits. They might try wage and price controls, as stupid and counterproductive as that is, because these people learn nothing. But what I'm expecting over the next 6 months or a year is increasing chaos in the economy. Why do I say that? Because in Washington, the people that are running Washington now are actually Bolsheviks. They're actually Jacobins. Now, they're not the same people as took over revolutionary France and revolutionary Russia, but they have the same philosophy. They have the same worldview, exactly. They have the same limited and incorrect view of economics. They're acting like these people. And at this point, we're actually on our way to a police state in the US and a lot of other countries around the world today. You combine this with the COVID hysteria, and you tack onto that the global climate hysteria. This is big trouble. These people are directing trillions of dollars towards what should be viewed as a relatively trivial annual flu, and trillions more dollars towards shutting down the carbon economy, which is actually insane. And it just compounds all the other mistakes that they've made. So big trouble this way comes.
Okay. Let's unpack that. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of questions I have now. If the taper will be delayed then, Doug, right? If they just have to keep printing because they have no choice, then do you not foresee a correction happening in the S&P anytime soon?
Well, nobody knows how high a tree can grow. And frankly, I'm surprised that the market's gone as high as it has. I haven't participated in it because I've been doing my own thing. And it's been very fine. Thank you very much. But look, the stock market is at an all-time high. It's in a bubble. The bond market is in a hyper bubble, and it's much bigger than the stock market. So I don't want any part of either one of them. What I'm doing right now, I have been doing, is buying resources, mining shares, oil and gas shares. That's where I am.
Yes, and that's what you've done for a long time. To that point, gold prices, Doug. We've heard it for the longest time. Gold is the ultimate hedge in inflationary times. And the number one question I get is, well, then how come gold, apart from the nice few pops we have here and there, isn't headed much higher? Is it because the S&P keeps roaring higher? Is that the greatest threat and competition to gold right now? Is it the S&P?
Let's look at this from a historical point of view. Back in 1971, gold was at $35 an ounce. Now it's at $18.50. So it's had a hell of a good run over the last, dare I say it, 50 years. At this point, it's not like gold is a super bargain, which it has been at times in the past. It's reasonably priced relative to other commodities, relative to the world at large. I'm mainly involved not in gold per se. I think it's going higher because it's the only financial asset that's not simultaneously somebody else's liability, which is very important in a time of financial chaos, which we are entering. I'm mainly speculating in gold mining shares, which in some ways are at all-time lows. Certainly relative to the stock market, they are. Certainly relative to the amount of earning, they are. So that's where I am as far as gold is concerned. The shares, not the metal.
Okay, you prefer to be in the mining shares, not the physical metal.
They're a speculation. They're not an investment, but I see a lot of upside in these gold shares.
Yeah.
I suspect that the market has gone from one bubble to another, including cryptocurrencies and so forth. I think at some point the public is, as inflation goes higher, is going to focus on gold. Gold will go marginally higher, and gold stocks, which are just a teeny-weeny rounding error of the market as a whole, a little bit of buying can take them double, triple, 10 to 1 when we talk about the explorers.
But just getting back to the spot price of gold, and I hear what you're saying, and obviously I love gold. I get it. I think the frustration that lies for many investors is they see the action in Bitcoin and they're thinking, well, wait a second, okay, gold's done well. Yeah, we know the story, we know the narrative, but why isn't it 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 an ounce?
Well, I don't know what the right price for gold is. I mean, we can come up with various parameters for what gold should be. So yeah, you can make arguments that when the monetary system is reset, gold is going to have to be much higher than it is. I'm just saying that relative to most things in the day-to-day world, meals you buy, suits you buy, cars you buy, it's more or less reasonably priced at the moment. It's going higher, but it's not a giveaway bargain the way it was in, let's say, 2001, when it was actually cheaper in real terms than it was in 1971.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.